Cool. Welcome to React. Right. So we're going to go through the fundamentals of React. In that particular case, I'm not going to use the Google Chrome snippet thingy. Does anyone know why? Except Chris, because we told that a minute ago.
Because React got its own platform.
Yeah, kind of.
Because it's developed by Facebook team, so we can use it.
No. So,
you know.
I just maybe like glitching.
no. So the problem is the DevTools, the snippet part is very useful to run pure vanilla JavaScript, like we did functions, objects, array, blah blah blah. But React, which is JavaScript at the end of the day, but it's a framework. So we will have to install lots of things, and right. So because of that, I'm going to move to Visual Studio, which is what you already know, and I'll pretty much keep this layout, which is what, as some of you know, this is what I all the time do. So I keep my Visual Studio on the left-hand side. I keep the browser on the right-hand side. It's not very easy to work with this resolution, but with the proper screen, yeah, it's a very, very nice experience, right? So that said, I'm not a super expert on React. I think it's fair to say I have been working with React for a few years after coming from an Angular background. But yeah, but I know most of the details, so I think I'll be able to help you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prototype something with you. I'm going to start from scratch. So let me remove everything on the screen. So yeah, and just you know, let's just try something. So I'm going to the hello world message on the screen. Hello. Oh, right. You cannot see. It's on top. Okay, no problem. I think I can fix that. Yeah. Yes. Hello world, right? Left and right. Right? Obviously, if we keep adding changes, the browser reacts. Well, you know all this story. So I'm going to focus this part. I'm going to guide it thinking on task number 7, which is about creating components. So I'm going to do something here statically, and then I'm going to extract it into a separate component. So then we'll see how to manage component life cycle. Right. So I'm going to do something random. So I'm going to add some divs, because you've been doing that pretty much, right? So I'm going to add the message, so hello world, and then we can play around a little bit with some HTML tags like vols, welcome to Goldflix, even with so for instance titles, right? H1. Some of you have been playing with this, right? Some basic, very basic stuff, right? Easy. So now I'm going to create a component to host this thing here. And this is really simple, actually. It's really simple. So look, this is your source folder. I added a couple of folders, but in reality that's the same, right? So we got the source folder with some files and stuff like that. So we got a gallery component. Some of you have created that already. If not, it doesn't matter. So the thing is, I'm going to create a file. Doesn't matter where the file is. So I'm going to call the file welcome, because I want to create a welcome component. So let's create a file called welcome.js.
But the file bit always has to start with a capital,
No,
wasn't it?
no. That's a coding convention. So file names could use capitals, lowercase, uppercase, slashes, underscores. Doesn't matter. The only concern is that React, Facebook people recommends that if you are going to create a component, which is a visual piece of code, yes, use a capital. That's the only recommendation, but there are no technical restrictions. You can do whatever you want. Right, so I got my welcome file here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a component. So creating a component, yeah, there are some steps involved. There is an easy way, and there is not that easy way to create components, and there are pros and cons. So I'll use both, actually, right? I'll use both. I'm going to start with the easiest way possible to create a component with React.
Can I just ask, with that, is there any, can you mix them both? So if you start with the easy one, should you continue with that, or could you go just mix it throughout the code?
So each component is either the easiest or the complex
So
way.
it doesn't matter which one, if you just as structure to keep it all as the same.
It will matter. No, we'll see how to transform from one to the other.
Alright.
And we'll see why and when we need to do it. But let's start simple, right?
Yeah.
Let's imagine that, let's fix problems when we face them.
Yeah.
At the moment, we don't have any problem, we have freedom, cool. So let's create a very simple component. So then, React components are purely functions. You know how to create a function? We created the welcome function, remember?
Yes.
Welcome function? Cool. So the only thing we need to do, first of all, is we need an import. We need to import React. You cannot see anything, unfortunately. I need to fix that. Let me add some break lines. Oh no, you can see it. No, it's okay. It's okay. Look on the left. Yeah. I thought it was. Yeah, you can see it. So I created a new file called welcome, and now I want to import React from React. That's the minimum thing you need to do whenever you want to create a React component.
Every single time.
Yeah, exactly. For every component we create in React, we have to do that. Import React because we are going to.
Where is React? The end of. Because yesterday I was surprised that it's gray, and then I realized, okay, because it's not used yet
Correct.
in the code.
Correct.
But then I thought, where is this React thing which is referring to? Is it
Well,
a library or like a
Yeah.
folder?
So React is a framework. It's a framework that was installed automatically once we had a coffee some time ago. Remember when we did npm install create React app? When we created the React app, React was installed as part of your project.
Yeah, but this project file is React altogether, the whole thing.
The project has several dependencies. One of them is React. So React is already installed.
Yeah, but this React is not. I looked at it in the file structure and I haven't found any file like React.
Yeah, there is.
It's in the public.
Yeah, no, there is.
Source.
It's in the JSON.
Yes, there is.
Okay,
Node modules. We have thousands.
That's the file.
Yeah, this is not a file. It should be a folder. Look, you see, instead of node modules, you got a folder. You are not supposed to look at that folder. This is like a library, weird, dark, random folder. But technically speaking, it's here. So you can see how many dependencies got installed the first time we set up the project, right?
And when we imported image earlier in issue number 2 or 3, then we had to specify the folder and the structure and the root element of the file. And then how come you just write React?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because whenever we want to import a library that is installed as part of the project, we don't need to set up any folder path. It's like a global, exactly. We just have to set the path when this is our dependency, when we created that dependency. We'll see that in a minute. So, did we have to bring anything about React? No, React was installed. It's a library, so don't use any path. Yes, import React from React. That's it. It's grayed out because we haven't used it yet. That's a new functionality on Visual Studio. So, the only thing we need to do is we need to create a function with the name of the component. So, let's create a function called welcome. And then, that function is expected to return a block of HTML code. It's as simple as that. So if now I type return, look, that's the simplest way to create a React component. You import React, and then you declare a function that returns some HTML.
But this is just pure JavaScript.
It's pure JavaScript, of course, because React is pure JavaScript.
Okay.
Right? So, we have created our function. Then we want to export it, and then import it from somewhere else. Do you know how can we export this function?
There's an export.
Export default. So if to that function I add a prefix export, I'm telling the world that that welcome function could be imported from other components. And even further, if I add a second word here, which is, which one? Default, means that will be the only element that will be exported from that file. We'll see later on why we can export multiple elements. But for now, let's keep it simple. Simple means one file, one component, export default. That's it. Any question?
I vaguely remember some other expression that use that you join it or sort of put it into some existing library what you're exporting, or not.
No.
Okay.
Let's do that, Sultan.
So export default makes function welcome globally available.
Exactly.
If I want to import it,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's it. You nailed it. That's exactly what we are going to do now.
So you mean that another code can reach inside this code even without this being saved separately? Or because because this, I mean, you don't have to save that line of code, 2 lines of code or whatever function into a separate file.
You should do that.
Uh-huh.
Just let's assume that for now, because that will help to keep everything simple. One component, one file. That's it. Right. So we have exported it. So now, what's the next step?
Need to import it somewhere.
Exactly. Let's import it somewhere. So for instance, I have this file. This file represents that view. You can ignore details. Actually, I'm going to remove few details because otherwise it's going to confuse you. Right? That should still work. Yeah. Right. So let's remove the HTML and everything. And let's, you see, empty. There is nothing. There is literally nothing. Let's import it. How do we import it? Import, correct. On the top, import, welcome, the name of the function from
Welcome.
// welcome, because they are on the same folder.
And you don't have to specify file extension.
No,
You're
that's
calling it as a function.
yeah. That's a good point. You don't have to specify the extension. If you specify the extension, I think that should still work. I believe.
I think that's it.
But
Sometimes
it's already a component, right? This is the component.
yeah, sometimes this is useful. For instance, what happens if you have another file called welcome, like an image called welcome? So this helps to identify what the file is, right? Okay, cool. So now let's display, let's visualize the welcome component. How do we do it? Render. Yep.
Just, yeah, in the div, just put bracket, welcome.
Welcome, like that.
We'll close it off space.
Like that. Is there? So you get that? You see what happened here? We import the welcome component and we display it here. That's it. Let's refresh.
Why there is a space?
Why there is a space? Where?
On
Here.
the closing.
After
On the
what?
closing.
Okay, right. So probably you were expecting that.
No.
No.
I'm not expecting. I'm just asking.
Like that.
Because when it's self-closing, it's
Yep.
normally a space between, right?
You can-
You don't have to.
You don't have to. That's optional.
Yeah,
That's
but
still valid.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just clearer. I think
Yep.
people just do it as best practice.
Yep. Agree. And now, I need to add some breaklines because otherwise you will see nothing. You cannot see anything on top of the screen, but you'll see in a second. Hello. I can see here. It's not showing on the screen.
It's black, isn't it? Black on black.
No. It's white. I can see my screen is correct.
Something wrong.
Yeah. No. Okay. No. It's okay. I can see it's okay here. Just give me a second. I'll fix it. I promise.
Oh, you're right in the gallery.
Here you go. All right. I mean, I promise it's okay here. It's missing the top part of the screen. Right. So you saw what happened. We had a welcome function that literally display hello world. We import the function. We display it. That's it. That's it. If I change hello world to hello Codiri, that's it. Super simple.
See, I get that, right? So now let's just take the example that we've got to do,
Mm-hmm.
the titles, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So, as everyone probably see, it's all in a div class,
Mm-hmm.
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So how would you put that, though, within the function?
Yep. That's
So if I've got import React from
Yep.
React, and then I've done function, and in my
Yep.
case I've done gallery,
Yep.
open brackets,
Yep.
and then I'm assuming we're going to have one
Open brackets or parentheses.
Open brackets. The parentheses. No, the open brackets there. Yeah. So now I need to put something within the function. Yeah.
I see nothing, Chris.
It's the same as yours.
No. It's not the same. It's not the same. That's the problem. You're missing the parentheses. Look.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
so I said that there were two ways of creating components.
Yeah.
So this is the simplest one, the most simple one. It's just a function that returns a piece of HTML, as you can see there.
Yeah.
Does anyone has any question up until here?
Oh, jeez. You could just put that
Right.
here.
Except this parenthesis you just added.
This parenthesis,
Yeah.
but because this is a function, right? Every function has a parenthesis open and close with the argument.
So, yeah, I thought that's just a reference.
No.
You have export default function welcome in the welcome file, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So, and then that just went.
So,
I don't think I have that.
You'll have it at the bottom, see, I think, because Ricardo's literally just exporting that one piece of code within that component. Whereas if he was going to literally transport, if it was a bigger file,
Yeah.
he would have it at the bottom, so once it reads, it'd export the whole lot instead of just that export.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, I do actually. Sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
no problem. Right, so let's go one step beyond. Let's imagine that instead of welcome Codiri, we want to display welcome Peter, welcome John, welcome whatever. In other words, we want to call the welcome function several times. I believe we can do that, right? You see, we can call the welcome function multiple times. That's why components are useful, because we can reuse them. Yeah. Let me change the layout. Here you go, 3 times. Okay? So let's imagine that we want to customize the message. This will be hello Peter, hello John, hello Mary, whatever. Do you know how to do that? How to pass arguments?
And then you have to create an argument after welcome.
Yeah. How we do it? How do we do that?
And just create brackets
Brackets,
and not
brackets,
yeah, parentheses, so not curly.
parentheses.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then write
With a
whatever
property.
argument you want to pass in.
When you need to go back onto the welcome file.
Yeah, but there's already, yeah, and you can do that first
Because
here
that's the
or
thing,
first
yeah.
there, it doesn't matter.
Right. So we got the 2 parts. We need to do something here, and we need to do something on the
Yeah.
welcome component.
You need to specify what arguments you can pass in.
Yes. How do we
They need to
specify arguments?
correspond
These ones.
to
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah. So like.
Yes.
I think it was curly braces and JSX.
Right. I'll explain the easiest way to do that. So to pass arguments, because we want to change the label, right? I hope everybody understands that if we want to do that, we need to customize these three lines because the content will be different. So for instance, let's pass an argument, which is the first name. Look at how simple this is. So we can do just first name equals Peter. And then first name equals Mary. And first name equals John. Will it make any difference if I save the changes now? No. Why?
Because it hasn't come from the welcome, hasn't come from the
Correct. We haven't changed the welcome function yet. Should work. I mean, shouldn't hurt. Still there. Fair enough. But then now, remember that we are passing one single argument called first name. So we can go to the function.
put it in the brackets, in parentheses, just first name.
Yes, exactly. So technically speaking, so the function receives an object. You remember objects? We talked about them half an hour ago.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. React recommends to call that argument props because this is a list
I
of
see, so
properties. Yep,
Properties.
properties, correct. So then, properties is an object containing all the properties that we're passing here. So then you will tell me, correct. We have to do something like that, props dot first name. So that's the props object, and then that's the property we want to access, as we call it first name, right? It's as simple as that. However, will this work? No.
Why don't you use properties on the other file as well, on the apps?
Here?
GS or gallery GS?
What
How
property?
does
So-
React know that that's
Because
what it has to pass?
that's a
It
convention.
passes in the whole thing, like
Yep.
welcome.
Yeah,
No,
Yep.
welcome is invoking. the
welcome is the name of the
function.
function, and this is the name of the argument, and this is the value of that argument. So you can access this doing props.first name, and this will return that.
And why don't you have to use props here?
Props, no, because you
Because
don't.
it's already a property.
Yeah, exactly. This is a property
So
already.
you don't have to put
No,
brackets,
no,
nothing.
no,
It's
no.
Just, you just write properties after properties.
Yeah, correct.
And what if you want to add another property?
Well,
Like
you add it.
name.
Okay, let's do it. Let's fix that first, and then we'll add a second
Okay.
one. So, will this work? Norbert didn't like it at all. Why?
Still a string. No. It's
Hello, props.
hello. It's gonna say it's hello props first name. 15.
Yeah, because hello props first name is written out as HTML, so it's not.
Correct.
After hello, there should be a syntax which separates hello from that property,
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
which
When-
is, I think, curly braces, right?
We need exactly. So we need to translate. We need to interpolate that props.first name into the proper variable. If we draw it like that, it will just display like that, right?
Yeah,
Which is not what we want.
plain text. That's
Plain text.
Plain text.
Correct. However, if we add, as you suggested, curly braces, look at that. Look, it changed the color in Visual Studio already. So it's like it's something special. I don't know if you see
But
it
you
from there.
said interpolation, that means $sign as well in front of it, no?
No. That should be it. So whenever we use curly brackets in React, means that it's going to evaluate the expression that we provide. So props is an object. So props.first name will be the proper first name that we are providing. There you go.
Still kind of like, we'd like to go back to the previous file, gallery.js, please. And how do you say that welcome first name Peter? Why do you call that an object?
So this is a React magic. Whenever you define this attribute, it will convert it into an object.
Because it's basically, what I see now is basically calling in a function with a property, and that's not an object to me. But if you say that React interprets it as an object, then
Yep.
probably.
We'll say, right, let's do something,
Okay.
as you proposed before. Let's add the last name. How do we display the last name? Let's just give one example to make it simple for now, right? So how do we display? We want to display the last name of Peter. What do we need to do?
Add a comma and then last name equals John or whatever.
Just a space.
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 We don't need a comma. Just a
No.
space.
Sorry, can I interrupt?
Yep.
So is the first name necessary? We can't just pass the string or just as an argument without first name.
Say it again.
We can't pass a string
A
or
st-
something as an argument without having the first name.
No, because if you pass a string like that,
I mean, maybe there is a.
if you do that, what's the name of the property?
There's no.
You need a key and a value. Here you just have the value. However, if you do that, you have the key.
There's nothing identifying what Peter is. If you miss to type first name, then Peter is.
Why do we need an object? Why can't we just pass something as an argument?
So you are passing a string as an argument. Look, you're passing a string, but the problem is what happened. Let's add another property, and we'll see more clearly. So how do we add the last name?
Last name
Space,
equals.
first name.
Space last name equals whatever, right? Right. So then, how do we display the last name here?
Same way as we did first name, just using last name.
Yep.
Or could you not do dot?
We'll go there in a second. Yeah, we'll go there in a second. So
Just add whatever plus and then
plus. Why plus?
because it's gonna be a string. Just space
space.
and that's it.
Space. And then?
And curly brackets and
Properties, last name.
Yeah. Let me move it to a new line. That's it.
Yeah, it's React Magic.
Yeah, it's React Magic. So props holds all the information that we are providing
So
here.
what I meant, can you go to?
Yeah. Here,
If we just pass a props without last name, just props.
props.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Props like that. So you want to just do that?
Yes.
Right. So props.
So yeah, so can we pass just something as an argument?
Something.
As props. Yes.
Yeah, you want to rename that?
No. I mean no. Keep it props like this.
Yeah.
Just in gallery.
Yep.
Just pass something.
Something like what?
String Peter.
So yeah, let's
Like that?
yes.
Yeah, but that's not valid. Look, it's a complaint already. This is because of how HTML works. So on HTML, you always have the tag, and then you always have a list of attributes. Attributes are defined by a key and a value. A key and a value. This is not matching HTML standard. You cannot just add a string here. It's not valid. Do you want to keep it like that?
No.
Okay. What will happen? Okay, that's a good point. What will happen if we try to display just props? I believe props, I'm sure props is an object. So if we try to display that, it's complaining because it's telling us that we are trying to display an object here, and that's not valid. That's HTML. We should display strings, numbers, simple things, right? That's why we need to do props first name, props last name. Questions?
In that another file,
Yep.
you put welcome
Yep.
and divs under return, and return is under render, and the thing is it a class or something?
Yeah, that's the second way of creating components. That's what I wanted to explain next.
So what folder we're in at the moment here?
Yeah, the folder is gallery.
You're in your gallery.
Yeah. So we have the gallery component, and then I have created below a welcome component. So gallery imports welcome. Okay. Right. So is there any question?
Yeah, and then if you would use another file, let's say apps.js, and you call in welcome, then that's gonna be the same.
Yeah, the same. It's always the same principle. You create a file, you add a function on it,
What if you don't say? What if you write your component welcome function in gallery.js and you don't save as a separate file and you call it in apps.js?
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it would just be just the image.
It's
It
bigger.
still
Correct.
works, right?
Correct. It still works. Technically speaking, we could have all our components in the same file. But don't do that.
Is it because npm sort of monitors the whole?
Yeah,
structure, or-
this is not npm. This is something called Webpack that we are running under the hood that essentially concatenates all our files. And in reality, in the browser, we will just have a big, huge JavaScript file. But we don't care about that. That's runtime. We care about development time. And at development time, we want to keep our files. The simpler, the better.
Can I just ask, in our case, so we're writing a function in the gallery one,
Yep.
and then we're exporting the material from there
Mhm.
into the app.js one for our
Mhm.
stuff, aren't we? Is that right?
Yeah.
Or from the other case, app.js, we're importing from gallery.js, right?
App.js from gallery.js.
We're importing the information in.
Yep.
Because at the moment, I'm understanding it is though we've got all of the covers of the movies or shows, whatever you want to call them, in app.js. In theory, we want to build a second file
Yep.
to have them stored there to import them in there.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yep.
So in the brackets that we would use, how would we label? Say that I wanted to just call them covers.
Yep.
And then, how does that identify each individual cover, the pictures of each image?
Yeah, because we are passing arguments. So this could be the title of the movie. So let's refactor this a bit. So let's set the title, right? Let's prove it works. Right? Still working. So that means that we can add multiple. We could rename it to cover if you want, just to make it more realistic. So let's rename everything from welcome and renaming the file name. So we got cover, and here is our cover. Right, so yeah, this is just the title. We also can obviously add more covers because we have 6 covers, right? So we can add.
And now this would be taking place in the gallery.js, right?
Yeah. You see, we got the list of covers. But to make the list of covers, we need titles and images. Exactly. So let's do that. Let's add an image. Let's add an image. So let me find the.
But what's showing on the browser is coming from app.js.
Well, but doesn't matter. Here is in gallery, but it doesn't matter. So I can do it
just
here.
Compiling them all together.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So at the end, you have a root component, which is app.js. That root component will import, in your case, gallery.
No, so I've got app.js and then I've done just a gallery.js.
That's fine. But then from app.js, you will import gallery.js.
Yes.
And probably gallery.js will import cover.js. So then we have a nested structure of components importing other components.
All right.
This could be more complicated, obviously. So at the moment we have 2, we have gallery and cover. But cover could also import another component. Let's add an image. So I'm going to find an image on the internet. Whatever. Writer one. Come on. Images. Yeah, these are images. I'm sure I can do it. Right, so let's download the image. Right, so images. Yeah,
This one is
whatever.
Yeah.
Turning the camera same item.
So let's try to download a single image today. Oh God, content is protected. Right, next one, that one. What happened today?
You can do it from there.
Sometimes, yeah. Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you. Got the image. All right. So let's save the image on the same folder just to make it simple. So if you remember, I had a gallery folder. So let's save just Jurassic. That's it. So first of all, that was the very first task you did. Do you remember how to add an image on the screen? Import. Yes, import. That sounds good. Let me open the browser again because I think I've closed it. Yeah. Where I am. Hello. Gallery. Yeah. That's a second. Here you go. Right. Cool. So let's import the image. Import. Do we care about the name of the variable that we use here? Is it important at this stage?
Yeah.
Yes. So what kind of naming conventions should we use? But is that important? So can I call it instead of Jurassic something else?
You can put it
Anything.
anything.
No, well,
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, let's try. Okay, let's try. Let's find it. Let's call it Jurassic for now. And let's.
You can put it whatever you want.
Yeah, we'll see in a minute if that's true or not. We'll see in a minute. Right. So
Oh, that's the follow. That's what the test is.
yeah. So we're importing the image, and then how do we display the image? Same as before.
IMG,
IMG,
then Jurassic.
Jurassic. Oops. Dot.
No,
What?
You need to have the
You
source.
don't have to use the extension.
You need to have source. SRC
SRC
equals.
equals
And then curly bracket.
curly brackets.
And then you can write Jurassic.
Yep. Okay.
And
What-
then if you want to put alt or whatever, then
From
You don't have to use from because
And
you
then
already
label it.
imported it.
And then
file
close it
and
out.
Like that.
code base.
yeah.
Multiple GPF.
So,
Yep.
so you're just using it inside. Not to-
Jurassic.
not to
The
specify
extension,
it,
right?
You already
Maybe.
specified on the top.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I wanted to suggest G-Plan.
So
And what if you change Jurassic to Murat?
to what?
Like whatever, like yeah, Borat, and then you change the other Jurassic to
Yeah.
Borat.
Will this work? Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay. Let's make a poll.
I know.
Well, I might do it.
It works. Why not? Why wouldn't it work? You just basically when you import something, you say, okay, this is I'm importing something from somewhere, and you declare what you want, how you want to call it, and then from then on, it's going to be a reference.
Yeah, I agree with Sultan. If we rename it,
Because you
still works.
It's almost like in JavaScript, you declare a variable and you assign a value to it. You just declare, in this case, Borat, and then you say from, which is equals, and then you say the file.
Yep.
I didn't understand it yesterday, but now I had.
Here under return, you use parentheses.
Parentheses. Yeah.
In another file,
Yeah.
you need parentheses.
That's a good point. Yeah. So you don't have to use parentheses at all, as you can see here. Why am I using parentheses? So, what? It's just a matter of styling. So to me, this code looks wrong. It still works, but looks wrong. Why? Because of the indentation. Look, we open a div here, but then we close it there. It's not aligned, you see? It's hard to read. However, compare it here. Here, to me, that looks awesome, looks beautiful. Because you, by adding the parentheses, I open a div here, and then I know it's closed there, right? Helps me to understand the code. However, here, that's crap. I hate that. That's why, technically speaking, even though that's valid, I will suggest to do that. Open a parenthesis, add a break line, doesn't hurt, and then at the end, add another one, right?
And is it going to add the last point on your evaluation
So-
algorithm?
No, that's it.
You just hold that there for a moment. I'm just trying to.
Yep.
So is there semicolon compulsory?
Sorry?
Semicolon compulsory?
No, it's not. Semicolons are not compulsory anymore in modern JavaScript.
Modern JavaScript.
I would recommend you to still use them. That's a personal suggestion because I feel more comfortable because you know
things close.
exactly. It's like more explicit. It's like I want to close that, right? But yes, right. And remember, do you remember how can we format the indentation automatically of a file? Imagine that we got something like that.
Control F.
Yeah, correct. So imagine that we got that, right? That's wrong. That's terribly wrong. It's super hard to read these 3 lines. If we press, probably depends on, but on Mac is Alt-Shift-F, on Windows is Control-Shift-F. You see? I'll do it again.
What is it on the Mac? Control.
Yep. It's, no, not Control. Alt-Shift, Option Alt-Shift-F.
Shift and
F.
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 Format or
Yep, F for format, that's correct. You got the command key. Which one you got on the left?
I've got command key, yeah.
On the left? Which
Yeah,
one? No,
left.
on the left of that one. Which one? Which?
Option.
That one.
Yeah.
Option Shift F. Does it work?
Yeah, I've got mine already. done,
Okay.
so that's
This is very useful, especially when you start creating your component, it grows and it was that. When you get compiling errors because you forget to close a tag at the end, this is very useful because it,
Yeah, that stuff pisses me
you
off.
can reach it from the
That
menu as well.
that one proxy div there.
What is it on a Mac?
Once
On the
it
Mac
starts
is
getting like
Option-
that,
Yeah.
I'm just
Option
like,
Shift F.
what is going on?
I'll show you.
Like,
Option
I
Shift
even
F.
think this one's messed up because that one there is now saying no. I don't think I even need that div anymore.
What's the
Yeah.
shortcut for Windows?
The thing is Control Shift F.
Control Shift S or Alt Shift S.
Yeah, it's one of these. Yeah.
Control Shift.
I think it's Alt.
I think it's Alt. Yeah, it's Alt. It's Alt. Alt because we saw it yesterday.
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah.
Alt Shift
Looking
F.
at your keyboard.
And where should I type? 'Cause
So
it
just
doesn't work.
no, type in the middle of your HTML, and then when it's wrongly formatted, when it's clearly wrongly formatted, something like that, then
No,
press Alt Shift F.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
Do you know when you get a line on this highlight, is that trying to identify that as an issue?
No. If it highlights the line, it's telling you where that line, where that block finishes.
Alright, yeah.
The vertical white one, you mean, right?
Yeah.
And what is a little
Okay,
that
so how do you
triangle?
pop
So little,
Sometimes
yeah. So that
appearing there.
that little red triangle is telling you that you have removed some code since the last time you commit and push. If
Oh,
you
I
click
see.
on the triangle, you click on it, it will show an overlay with position absolute, which is something everybody should understand now, and will tell you the oldest version of your code.
What was the dot title referring to on here again?
Dot title, what is dot title?
On props.
Props.
title?
Yeah, so this prop title, because here we are passing a
Oh,
title
it's the
property.
title, okay, yeah.
Can I ask just?
Yeah.
Can you go to the desktop, your folders?
Desktop folders, you want that, the navigation?
That. So, in the SRC, you can create actually folders what you want.
Here?
Yeah.
No. So SRC
Yeah.
should refer to a variable,
Okay.
and that variable, Borat, should be imported on top. Here is where you declare where in your folder structure your image is. So at the moment, the image, Jurassic, is on the same folder as
Okay.
the current file. That's why with // we can reference it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You should
Okay.
pick the.
So if you let's say, you had 100 titles.
Yep. you're not going to import a
No.
image. You are completely right. There is a task number 20 or so. We'll talk about that. Yeah, there is a task. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. In reality, in the real world, Netflix is not importing thousands of images on top of their files, right? There is a way to load them dynamically. We'll see that, so don't worry.
But if you want to use one image multiple times, then it's like better to import, I guess.
One image multiple times. Well, we can use now one image multiple times, right? So if we call the image multiple times.
So there's no difference between importing an image and using multiple times?
No.
Importing an
You
image
importing the image once, and once you have imported it, you can use it as many times as you want, of course.
Yeah, but what if you don't import the image?
If
and
you don't
use it the other way,
Yeah, but the other way I didn't explain it yet, and no, we are not going to do that today.
Okay, I'm just wanting to establish best practice. So how do you decide which method to use?
We'll see. Once we learn the second one, we'll see the differences. So don't worry about that now. Yeah, exactly. They make it more complicated.
I have this tendency to keep it in that way.
Can you go back to the gallery part quickly?
Yep. That's the gallery.
Yeah, now I've got that. I'm just trying to see on mine how I'm doing it. No, if you go to the folder gallery.
The folder gallery, yeah. It doesn't have to look the same. This is just.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to compare with what I'm trying to achieve. No, are you in the? Is that your gallery? Where you written the function?
So the function is on the same as here.
Yeah,
cover is the same.
That's what I wanted to see. So your cover. The cover is we've labelled it. The props refers to the picture.
The props, no. The props refers to all the properties that we are passing here. We are not passing the picture yet. Look, do you see any picture here?
No.
Not yet. I just imported it, but now we have to pass it to the cover component. So how do we do that? How do we display that image as part of the cover component?
It's got to be in the. I know it's got to be bracket.
So importing what?
No,
in the cover.
Just type it inside.
Why in the cover? Imagine, okay, we need 3 images just to prove this example correctly. Let's do that. Let's do that right? Let me add the proper naming conventions. So you got Jurassic, right? And then let's find some covers.
Right.
Right, so this is, and then what's the other one? For, yeah, cool. So we got 3 images here, right? 1, 2, and 3. We don't care about the style. It's just the images. So now we want to display them all as part of the cover because we want to display the title and the image. We have
You just add space and then
space.
And then you do what you did before, image search. Source, sorry.
Source.
Image source.
Here.
Image equal just image equal
Equal curly bracket Jurassic. Does it make sense to anybody?
Yeah. But why is it image? Why isn't it just IMG?
Why? Because IMG was before. So IMG, Soul, what we did before, we were doing that, right? That's what we did before. That's because on HTML, the way to display images, the way to use the image tag is passing a source, src attribute.
But we already have curve.
Yeah, so 1 second. So, but here, we don't want to display an image yet. We just want to send the image to the cover component. And then the cover component will be responsible to display it.
Oh yeah, because image is already part of cover.
It will be, not yet, it will be.
So I like Apple.
Yeah.
All of that. And like it works, whatever. My only problem is that my overlay is not showing.
Your overlay is not showing.
It's not showing, and I even I even just put the import app.cs in my cover.
Yeah.
.js, and it's not everything's compiled successfully, but it's still for some reason it's not animating.
Yeah, but I need to have a look at it right now. Yeah, we'll have a look after. Right. So at the moment, okay, let's complete the exercise. So what do we do here? You tell me.
Same but well, no, we'd need to import the other two.
I buy that. So we import I think that's the name of the files. Yeah, well, more or less, yeah. Cool. So down, what do we have to do here?
And then you do the same image equals not in here.
Look, you see, Visual Studio is suggesting. Look at the first result. Hey, do you want to do that? Yes, thank you. And here,
Image equals pose.
cool. So what will happen as soon as I save the changes? Not much. Why?
Because
we haven't done
you haven't to the cover, so they won't know.
Yes, exactly. You are completely right, Aaron. So at the moment, the gallery is sending two properties to the cover, the title and the image. However, the cover is not doing anything with the image yet, right? It won't show. Let's refresh. You see, it's like, okay, you can send me whatever you want, but I'm going to ignore it, right? That's why now you'll tell me how to display the image.
You do another brackets props.image.
Props.image. Like that? You see? We want to display the image. How do we display images? We've done that on the first task.
Okay, yeah.
Render.
Render.
It's not render.
No, just for an IMG.
Yeah, it's image.
All right.
Source.
Yes.
What was that?
Source equals what?
Nothing.
Props.
Yeah. Props dot image.
Props image.
Props. Why props.image and not props.src?
Because
Because
SRC is just the thing that sources the information on the actual.
because we already specified image source when we imported the images.
Yeah, because we call it image. We can call it source if you prefer. It's up to you. That's just how you prefer to style it. Right? So that to make it. There you go. Look at that. Go to Jurassic Park, Notting Hill, and the Purk. Yeah, it's hard to see the title, but it's there, right? Trust me. Right. Questions?
Can you resize also?
Can you resize? Well, the thing is, yeah, that's a CSS problem. That's a CSS problem. It's not working at the moment because I'm not styling images. But we could do that if you want. So we could go to
With React,
No. So resizing is purely a CSS program. So the way
I mean, like, we do it inline in HTML, so there's no way to put CSS inline in React.
CSS inline.
Inline CSS.
Inline, yeah. Okay, right. Yeah. So what Vicky is asking to do is something like that. we could add the styles here.
So it's possible.
Yes, you'll see in a minute, in a second. Look, boom. You see? But there is always a but. Never do that. That's super dirty.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a really good reason, do it. But this is very smelly. We shouldn't add inline styles.
Yeah, it should always be in a separate folder.
It should be on CSS. Why? Because this is harder to maintain. So let's keep the things separate. So we're talking about CSS. Okay, let's move to a CSS file, right? This is not a CSS file.
Yeah.
What happens if you want to reuse your CSS? What happens if you want to? Yeah, you want to share it. You want to reuse it. It's harder because.
No, I just want to know if we.
Yeah. Technically speaking, yeah. Look, it works, right? I mean, look, I'm going to make the image smaller, 10%. You see? So it's possible, yeah, definitely. So you can define style attribute and then add all your CSS properties. But let's try not to do it because it's not great. Cool. So what's the, okay, if we said this is not correct, so what's the correct way to do it? Correct, so we need to find a CSS file. I'll do it on gallery.
I mean, you don't need to show it. It's okay.
No, but that's fine. I mean, it's a good question. So then, so we read here on on CSS. You see, it's already there. Cool. Right. So that's pretty much it. All I wanted to show. Is there any question up until here? No? Right, so now we have two options and you decide. Either we leave it here or I explain the complex way of creating components. I'm not sure you want to know that now.
No, I don't, because I don't even really get all of that yet.
So please train that, because it's the simplest way, right? And we can have another session next week, Monday maybe.
Maybe if we start number 8, like everybody did number 7.
Yeah, you are not.
About number 8.
Yeah, you're not going.
8, we're still on 7.
Because this was.
Yes. Justin,
for me it was.
which task are you at the moment? 20. Which task number are you at the moment? 12. What is it about?
The create an variable.
Right. So starting from 12.13, you will need a complex way of building a component. You'll see why, but for now it's okay. So I guess we have still a gap of some time to. Right? Let's leave it here. Train this strategy, and yeah, if you have any question, right?
I've got some questions.
Cool. I'm going to stop the presentation now, and I'll send it over to you. Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.